Hello everyone out there in the internet world. Today I wanted to do a little movie review, and this is my first official movie review, and of all films, it may be the most epic film I've ever seen. And it is Smurfs, The Lost Village.
Really freaking out, you guys!
A proud moment for me in my short career of doing this review. The film's been out for a while, and as a parent, you don't get to see all the films right away, but it was one of those days where we went out with the little one and decided to see the film. And it was interesting, needless to say. I'm going to go over a quick review on basically what I liked and what I did not like about the film. And you can take it with a grain of salt if you haven't seen the film, if you want to go see it. Or if you agree, you can comment on this channel. Also suggesting like and subscribe if you want to, as I'll be putting more stuff out. And hopefully more reviews you'll find interesting. So start off, Smurfs The Lost Village is a continuation of, I believe, many films that have come out, the Smurfs recently. The last two were live action elements, which were okay. I didn't think they were that great. This one is just a full animation. This is a self-contained story in itself where Smurfette's kind of questioning her place with the Smurfs. So she's trying to find belonging. The film goes into all the different Smurfs that exist in the Smurf village.
Farties, frenemies, worrywarts.
Sometimes I just feel blue.
Cranks, shade throwers, nosies.
Well, what's going on over there?
And there's one thing they have in common.
100.
They're all dudes.
Now for the one-fingered push-up. 1, 2.
Except for one.
You have the typical villain, Gargamel. You have Azrael. And a character I've never seen before, maybe I just haven't noticed it, basically a bird, or I want to say like a raven, or they call it different names in the film, named Monty, which was, he had some humorous moments in the film.
Have to find the village before they do.
Incoming bird! Huh?
And it worked for what it was as a kid's film. And what they uncover is that there is a place that's basically a forbidden forest that the Smurfs don't go to. Even Gargamel, as evil as he is, doesn't even venture out.
We mean you no harm. We're looking for the lost village. Wow!
What the?
For some reason, they figure out that there are other Smurfs, or different Smurfs. And Gargamel goes to hunt them down, and Smurfette, Hefty, Brainy, and Clumsy. Is it Clumsy Smurf? Yes, it's Clumsy Smurf. I got a little cheat sheet here on my computer with all the different names and so forth so that I name them correctly here, so I hope you don't mind. And they go out on this adventure, the four of them, trying to find this new village, or as they call it, the film, The Lost Village.
There really are other Smurfs out there. We need to find them.
What if this means the lost village isn't a legend?
Now you're talking about maps and mystery Smurfs.
What's going on in here?
None of your business, nosy.
Well, all right.
And warn them about what Gargamel is going to be doing to them, because Gargamel is a bad dude, and he uses his magic to siphon the magical powers of the Smurfs. So, needless to say, the most of the film is just a journey. And the animation was nice. I like the animation. It was cute. There's a lot of magical and whimsical creatures and plants to discover in this forbidden forest, which was a nice little turn of events. It was more than just Smurfs. There were other creatures out there. There was a bunny that glows in the dark, which was cool. There was these fireflies that actually breathe fire, which was cool. And that was the extent of what I enjoyed with the film. The animation was nice, and it was cute, and you had some new elements. But outside that, I felt it was lacking. And this is the reason why. And one of the first reasons I mentioned is the lack of plot in the story.
Hefty? Clumsy? Oh, that's not even convincing.
There is a whole journey to find this lost village. And what we find out is it's a village full of girls. And as you know with the Smurf stories, Smurfette is the only girl. And everyone else is about over 100 Smurfs that are all boys. So, it's cool. There's this whole village of girls, and it's neat. But I felt like they really didn't get much into who the girls were. You have a brief overview, and their Mama Smurf, or as they call her here, Smurf Willow. I told you that cheat sheet I'm going to use it to make sure I have my right information. who is portrayed by Julia Roberts, is basically their version of Papa Smurf. I guess they're Mama Smurf. And she's kind of tough. She's interesting. And they had another one by the name of Smurf Storm by Michelle Rodriguez. And, you know, she portrays a very tough, archery-like Smurf. I thought she was okay. And then you had some other actresses, Ellie Kemper, Ariel Winter was in there, Meghan Trainor. They all played these different Smurfs. But they had very small roles. And that was the issue I had with the film is, yes, it's a kid's film, but you shouldn't shortchange the character development. Even with some of the main characters we know, the character development was, in my opinion, kind of lacking. And once you discover the village, it felt like the film didn't have anywhere really to go. And when I say that is, Gargamel gets there, there's a battle, and Smurfette sacrifices herself, and the whole premise is Gargamel takes the power of Smurfs and uses it for himself. Smurfette is not really a Smurf. If you know the origins of Smurfette, she was created with magic powers by Gargamel from clay. So, and then this is a spoiler here, just warning you, spoilers. She reverts back to her clay self because she absorbs all these powers that Gargamel took from the Smurfs, and she disperses it back to everybody. And at that point, she sacrifices her life. But because the Smurfs are full of magic and love, and it felt like a scene from Care Bears. If you've ever seen the Care Bears, they have powers that shoot out of their belly. It felt like the Smurfs emitted these powers, and it brought Smurfette back to life. And that's pretty much how the story ended. She's back to life, everybody's happy. And from there, the male Smurfs are hanging out with the female Smurfs. And to me, it didn't really feel like it was really a movie. It felt like it was an episode of the Smurfs. And there used to be a TV show, and it was an entertaining show as I watched it as a kid. And that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like a movie. It felt like, here's a new episode. We're introducing some new characters. And we're just scratching the surface of who they are. Now, they may come out with another Smurf film and build more on this. That'd be great. But I felt like it was just that the plot and the character development was lacking. And it was a shame because you had a lot of good actors and actresses that were in this film. I mean, just looking here, Demi Lovato, Jack McBrayer, Danny Pudi. I apologize, Danny.
Excuse me?
I'm not going to edit this because I got to own up when I say someone's name wrong.
Excuse me?
But Danny Pudi, who's from Community and also is doing the show Powerless, I should know how to pronounce your name, so I do apologize for that. Of course, Manny Patinkin, Frank Welker, if you remember the Transformers cartoons, or G.I. Joe, or a lot of the shows in the 80s and 90s, he's a legend in voice work. He also did the voice of Galvatron in the 4th Transformers film. So I'm glad to see he's there. I believe he originally did Azrael's voice in the cartoons, so it makes sense as in there. Of course, I mentioned Michelle Rodriguez, Ellie Kemper, Julia Roberts, and so forth. And I really thought Julia Roberts was going to get some more lines in this film. Her character was not as developed as I'd hoped it would be, especially to being a counterpart to Papa Smurf. And that was another concern I had in the film. Papa Smurf came off to me like I don't want to be mean about it. He felt like a guy that was aloof, that wasn't knowing what's going on. He just felt very absent-minded and clumsy. And if you remember the cartoons, Papa Smurf was, in his own ways, a wizard. He understood magic. He was smart. He was a voice of reason for the Smurfs. It just came off that he was, I'm just annoyed you guys snuck out to this place and now I got to find you and everything else. And I felt like it could have been done more for a character that I enjoyed as a kid, and they kind of brushed him off, that he wasn't a very smart character. Another great actor, Rainn Wilson, who did Gargamel. He had some cute lines in the film, and you could really tell Rainn's personality in it.
The Lost Smurf Village. It's time to take a road trip. I'll be like, and they'll be all like, oh no, I got a little, and I'll be like,
so I'm glad, all of them had work doing this film. Obviously they hired them for a particular reason, but I felt that because of the story writing wasn't strong, that these actors and characters fell short of the promise. And I know it's a kid's film, but just because it's a kid's film doesn't mean it can't be well written, can't be well developed. If you notice, Disney Pixar, the Disney films, Illumination Entertainment, DreamWorks, they put out some quality films that are not only good for children, but entertain parents. And I only say that because when I was in the movie theater, there's a lot of kids there, and a lot of kids were bored. My little one was bored halfway through, and usually he loves these films. So I felt that, they could have done a better job with that, and I'm sure they realize that. And if they ever do another Smurf film, I do hope they keep these actors and actresses as the characters, because I think they are good actors and actresses, but they need to develop a better story, because it can't be, okay, we're going to sit for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it wasn't a quality story. So that was the only shame of it. And I hope they improve on that. And with that being said, when I do these reviews now, I'm doing a grade scale. And the grade scale is going to be the cookie scale, not a Cookie Monster scale, just a cookie scale. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, and if it's really bad, I'll give them a 0. So my opinion, because of the disappointment of it, I am going to give this review, this movie, 1 cookie. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree, but I'm going to give it 1 cookie. Could have been 0, but then again, I like cookies, so I'm going to give it a 1 cookie review. So this is my video review for the Smurfs, The Lost Village. I hope you find it interesting, entertaining. If you wish to comment on it or add anything of your view of the film, please do. Thanks a lot, and have a good one. Because I really like cookies. These are good.
Smurfs, The Lost Village.